Hello everyone, welcome to the Ozark Outpost. This is Global War 85, Operation Skyhawk, U.S. Global Command 7.4. Okay, so here we are with tech. Got windows open, sunlight's coming in there causing a little problem. Advanced SLBM, long-range missiles, SDI, and advanced airborne. Looks like advanced SLBM is it. So the Americans complete advanced SLBMs. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Let me get these bad boys out of the box here. So what that's going to mean, I'm sure you already know, is these SLBMs are upgraded to advanced SLBMs, and as such, they and their associated boomers can now be deployed as counterforce reserve units. There we go. Alright, that wasn't very good, but one tech completed is better than nothing. Okay, now, global operations, diplomacy. The Americans are going to use their 2 free dice to try to talk Egypt into a military pact, since they're threatened to the west there by Warsaw Pact in Libya. And then they're going to pay 2, and that die they are going to use on, remember, they're going to try that one to try to get a military pact with Pakistan. Okay, military aid and purchase. There is a lot of military aid here. NATO, they're spending 9 to give NATO an A-10 and a destroyer. 6 there to give Egypt a field artillery and a fighter. Because of the current naval situation, the field artillery will have to be heavy airlifted in. Then for the next one, they're spending 4 to send Pakistan a field artillery and a fighter. That field artillery will also have to be delivered using the 2nd heavy airlift. And then the last one there, spending 5 to send South Africa a fighter. Okay, then the Americans are spending 6 battle stars on a minor airbase upgrade. They are spending 10 on 2 mechs and a paramilitary, and the remaining 10 on 2 next-gen MBTs. Combat movement. Okay, right here, the B-52 takes off from Diego Garcia, flies 1, 2, 3 over here to I-6, where he is going to shoot 2 cruise missiles into Basra in a surgical strike. With this fleet, here's a cruiser who is shooting a 3rd cruise missile in there, and that's all the Americans currently have in stock. There's the Basra card. No SAM, so no missile defense. All right, next, over here in the Atlantic, the Soviet shenanigans have just enraged the Commander-in-Chief Atlantic. So he's looking for some revenge. So from A-34, 3 SSNs are going to move 1, 2, 3 over here to A42, where they are going to attack that lone Soviet SSN. The other 3 SSNs from A34 are going to go 1, 2 into A41, where they are attacking a pair of Soviet SSNs. The 2 ASW choppers from the fleet carrier that's here in A38 had been up here in A34. They are shifting their patrol down here to A41, where they will join that attack. And then also from A34, 1 destroyer will go 1, 2, 3 over there to A42. The other 2 destroyers will move 2 spaces into A41. And the presence of the destroyers in these zones, as you know, will negate the Soviet first strike. The Americans will have first strike with their subs. The Soviets will not. Okay, let's get these arrows off here. Next, the Soviets in Cuba have encountered the ire of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He wants them out of there. So the Americans, once again, are going to attack Cuba. From central United States and airborne goes 1, 2, 3 in there. 2 more airborne from southern United States, 1, 2 to get in there in the fight. 3 air cavs from Gulf States, 1, 2. They get in there. Fighter from southern United States goes in and joins the fight, and he is going to fly seed against the Soviet Spag. So he will take away the Spag's first strike. Also joining the attack from the carrier here in A38, everybody will fly 1, 2 to get into the fight. That's going to be a pair of ASFs, an attack bomber, and a ground attack fighter. And finally, the battleship here in A36 is going to shoot its 2 Tomahawk cruise missiles into Cuba there to support the attack. Yeah. So, since the Americans are flying seed against the Spag, the Soviets decide their SAM What do the Soviets want to decide? The Soviets decide their SAM is going to shoot air defense to try to take out some American air power with first strike. Okay, that's going to be it for combat movement. So the first thing we will do is the surgical strike in Basra. As I said, no missile defense. So here comes 3 cruise missiles with PGM. Oh, yes, and I forgot to mention, the Americans will use their spy satellite in the Cuba attack so that the fighter... Wait a minute, no. I said that wrong. This is regular combat, so the fighter just negates the Spag first strike. He doesn't get to attack it, so... the Americans do not need spy satellite. They don't need spy satellite anywhere. So they're also going to do a Celestial Eagle attack against the Soviet spy satellite. There's another combat movement. Okay, so 3 cruise missiles into Basra for nothing. Those missiles were not programmed very well. All right, so now we will do the Celestial Eagle, which is, if I remember it, that's 1 dice at 5. Let me verify that. Yep, 1 dice at 5, Celestial Eagle. Okay, there is a 1 that does the job. So the Soviet spy satellite cannot be used on the next Soviet turn. All right, now we're going to do the attack against the lone Soviet SSN in A42. So there are 3 American SSNs with first strike. And there is a 3, and that is good enough to kill that Soviet sub. So he's out of there. And that's a naval battle star for the Americans. Okay, now the same thing. We have 3 SSNs with first strike in A41. The Soviets are not able to reciprocate. This time, the first strikers all miss. So now, get some fresh dice. 2 ASW choppers at 3. They both miss. And 2 destroyers at 4, and they get in there for 1 hit. Okay, so that's another naval battle star for the Americans. The Soviet sub that's going down will defend. The other one is going on silent running. A 5 will not do it. He needed a 4. So get another Soviet sub off the board over here. And the other one goes on silent running. Okay, there we go. All right, next we're going to have the fight in Cuba. I'll move that to the boards. Okay, here we go. The first strike for the Americans will be the 2 Tomahawks at 6. As I said, the Soviets have their SAM doing air defense, which gets first strike. Their field artillery will defend with chemical. There's their SPAG that has been suppressed from its first strike. ASW chopper in the box. Everybody else is pretty self-explanatory. The American on seed has to do a regular attack. He can't do air superiority. Okay, here we go. Two Tomahawks. Okay, there is 1 hit, and that is land target select because of PGM. Okay, now the Soviet. His SAM gets 3 shots. All 3 miss. He needed 2s. And now the field artillery with chemical. Okay, there is 1 first strike hit with a 2. So, One land target select hit by the attacking Americans is going to take out a mech. And one chemical hit one chemical hit. I'm going to remember, I think I've been forgetting. That gives the Americans disruption. So their land units come down one to be disrupted. That takes care of that. Okay, so now we go regular. Here's 2 ASFs for 1 air hit. And that will be an air battle star for the Americans. Now we have 3 airborne at 2. Here's 1 general hit. 3 air cabs at 3. Here's a 2nd general hit. Ground attack fighter at 4. Miss. A fighter at 6. Get that out of here. And an attack bomber at 7. Oh! Stymied. Okay, there's a fighter. Spag. Okay, fighter, spag with 3 shots, and the mech. The mech is green, the fighter's blue. Okay, there is 1 hit by this, 1 air hit by the spag, and that's it. Everything else missed. So 1 air hit here has to be taken on the Soviet fighter. Get him off there. 1 air hit in return. The Americans are going to take on an airborne. That takes care of them. And then 2 general hits here. They're going to take on the field artillery and the SAM naturally. Okay, now we go to round 2. The spag goes to the box. So the Soviets have 1 mech left defending. The ASFs have to go to the box. So here we go. Attack bomber, fighter, three air cabs, and 2 airborne. The attack bomber's purple, the fighter's blue, 3 air cabs, 2 airborne. Okay, there's a hit by the attack bomber. One of the air cabs got a hit, so that's plenty. We only needed 1. He defends for a hit. Okay, so the Soviet is gone. They're wiped out. Those little fellers off there. The American has to take a hit, which he'll take on another airborne. Okay, that's a land battle star for the American. And let me put things back. All right, just thinking about it while I was putting things back, I think I made an error. The hit by the Soviet SAM couldn't be taken on the airborne because they have to be taken last as air casualties. So I had to take the hit on an actual air unit. So I killed one of the ASFs instead. So the Americans captured Cuba with 3 air cabs and 2 airborne. Slight error. And then that is going to be on the income chart, +2 for the Americans to 49, -2 for the Soviets to 48. All right, that's the end of combat. So now we have to do our diplomacy rolls. Okay, we got 2 dice for Egypt. We can do them at the same time because they're different colors. 2 dice for Egypt and 1 for Pakistan. Pakistan, yes. Egypt, no. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, there we are. Pakistan now has a military pact with the United States, which triggers an automatic military pact for India. Don't know if the Americans came off on this very well, but you got to do what you got to do. So that's going to be +2 for the Americans up to 51, and that will be +4 for the Soviets to 52. So as I thought, the Soviets came out just a little bit better on that deal. I'll change all these units out off camera. So now we get to non-combat movement. Okay, the B-52 is going to fly back to Diego Garcia. Get them off there. I forgot them earlier. You can get these cruise missiles out of here. There's that, and there you go. Okay. Now, the cruiser, or the destroyer and 2 frigates are going to go from I-1, 1, 2, 3, up there to I-7. Okay. The SSN and I-1 is going to go 1, 2 over here to A48. Actually, does he? Yeah, he's going to go over there to A48. Yeah. Then over here, the destroyer from A34 and the frigate from A29 are both going to come down here to A38 to join in escorting the supercarrier and the cruiser there. Okay, the land-based fighter returns to southern United States. The carrier air flies back out to their carrier, -1 ASF. And this SAM's going to move 2 from Gulf states over here to Northeast United States. No, actually it won't. It's going to move 1 over here to Southern United States. The B-52 from Great Lakes is going to fly to Puerto Rico and land at that minor air base. Okay, I think that'll do for non-combat movements. I think that's it. So let us place some units. We got 2 mechs built here in Mauritania, along with a paramilitary. The airbase upgrade we'll put here at Gulf States. Macaw is building 2 next-gen MBTs. Okay, now we're delivering aid. So we have a field artillery airlifted into Suez. Heavy airlifted in. Fighter comes in, or actually, yeah, fighter comes into the minor airbase. Okay, then Pakistan. We've got a ground attack fighter comes into the minor airbase, and field artillery uses the 2nd heavy airlift to get in there. South Africa gets a fighter, comes in through its airbase. And NATO gets their A-10 and destroyer. The destroyer is delivered to the minor shipyard there in Scotland, so it joins the fleet. That now gives the fleet a supercarrier, a carrier, an amphib, a cruiser, 2 destroyers, and 2 frigates. And then the A-10 is delivered to the airbase here in Benelux. There's that. All right, now the Americans collect money. As we said, they're at 51. Don't think they're getting any adjustments. No. No adjustments for the Americans. So. $51 plus the one they saved makes $52. There's 3 cruise missiles and another anti-ship missile. Total of 4 of those. And they have 4 battle stores. Okay, that's the end of the American turn. I haven't done this game yet, I don't think. Let's have a look around. So there's the tech chart. Let's go up to turn 8. Or the income chart. See where everybody is there. Here's the tech chart. See, it looks like the Americans are tech dominant so far, but the Soviets could catch up pretty quick. Okay. Keep in mind, this is all Soviet now, and this is American. There's the situation in the Middle East. Soviets definitely threatening Saudi Arabia. And now Pakistan, of course. Okay, here's the situation in Southern Africa. Standoff at the moment. Angola is pretty strong. There's North Africa, Northwest Africa, the standoff over here. At the moment, the Soviets have the upper hand in Northwest Africa. But we'll see what happens there, because their giant submarine force in the Atlantic is being whittled down. The Americans, of course, have Cuba. Nicaragua is still a Soviet minor. Here's the situation in Scandinavia. Soviets clearly on the march. Warsaw Pact isn't in bad shape in Europe. They haven't accomplished a hell of a lot yet, but they did withstand a pretty good counterattack in northern Germany last turn to hang on to that. The Soviets, of course, are trying to back them up. And that's about the extent of it. There's what Warsaw Pact has in West Czechoslovakia. What you see on the board there is what they have in East Germany. There's what NATO has in Rhineland. And then, of course, you see what they have in Benelux and Picardy there. And still Bavaria. It's still holding the line. So, it's anybody's game at this point. We'll see what happens. Ozark Outpost. Over and out.